Good morning. Wasn't sure if I was on or not. Today is now May 28th. It's Wednesday, middle of the week. Sometimes referred to as hump day, I guess. I want to welcome you to this live stream, Fight CPS, with your host, Bob Pace. And hang on to your children. I know it's an awful mess out there for a lot of you. Now, I've been doing this live stream twice a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 live streams a week. And I do this every week, every month, and every year. I've been doing this now for 19 months, and I started back in October of 2023. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, and on the weekends at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then in the evenings, I'm on 7 days a week at 7 p.m. Now, those times I give you are all Pacific Standard Time. I'm on the west coast of California, streaming from Surf City, USA, 3 blocks from the beach. And I'm here not as an attorney, but here as a loving father and a husband who has 42 years of marriage experiences and have helped raise 6 children. Yes, I'm a dinosaur, but I don't feel like a dinosaur, don't look like a dinosaur. Unfortunately, at age 60 in 2010, I got involved with CPS. Now, at that time in my life, I had a very disheartening situation happen to me. I was laid off from my job, a dream job. I lived in a forever home and everything was great. Lived at the beach, and what could I ask for more? Beautiful young children. My older children, 3 of them are grown up and had families of their own, but my younger ones were still near me. They were, at that time, very, very young. I think one was 5. Let me see. Or one was 4, actually. My youngest was only 4 in 2010. Well, no, he was, well, in that time, yeah, he was going on 4, going on 5. And my daughter, was 8 years old, just turned 8 in July. And then my other son was 15, or going to turn 15, wasn't 15 quite yet. And my son at 15 was going to a very private, good school. And my daughter was going to a middle school, very good middle school. And my son was going to a high-tech elementary school. We lived in a very, very affluent neighborhood. We had CC&Rs. My home was built in 1994. I purchased in 2004, and the world looked really great then. We all, as a family, had passes to go to Disneyland. That was our entertainment. And we also traveled around the world. I'm a world traveler, so I love to travel. And for 25 years, I was traveling before I got married out of a sports bag because I was following surfing contests from country to country. Anyway, there's something in common. Now, I've had over 1,700 people I've talked to in here from 23 countries in the U.S. And sad to say that everybody has something in common. It's called income. Now, in my case, I had to go to a Spartan lifestyle, so I had to cut back because I didn't have a job. All I had was my savings. And in 2010, I had amassed a pretty good savings, even though I lost quite a lot during that bank failure when the stocks crashed and everything. And I lost half of my savings. I still had enough to take care of the mortgages and do the basics, the food, the utilities. We didn't have much luxury. We couldn't travel. We couldn't pay for airfare. We couldn't go to Disneyland. And so we tried to do local things and tried to enjoy our lives that way. And luckily, my home was paid off for my motorhome. And so we could travel in that and go places. Only 4 years. See, 2010, it was 10 years old. So it was still pretty good shape. Still pretty good shape. And I want to welcome Ebony Charles, who's just come into the room. He's from Detroit, Michigan, seeking professional legal aid. Great. I'm glad that you're here. And here's Happy Feet. Hello, Happy Feet. Good morning. Happy Feet, I remember, is from, let me see. Happy Feet, I think, is from Arizona. Am I correct, Happy Feet? And Ebony is from Detroit. So Happy Feet, am I right? Are you from Arizona? Waiting for Happy Feet to respond. Well, this room is interactive, and as you can see, people at a regular basis. Yep, she's Queen Creek, Arizona. Happy Feet is. She's a Native American Indian, and they are refusing to assist her. So that is really, really hard. She has a bad case. I'm so glad to see you. Ebony, what is your professional question? And I'll try to answer as best as I can. Now, that is one way you can interact with this live stream. You can call in or right now text in a message. It should be in a comment form or a question and it should pertain to CPS. Please state your first name, your city or county. Now, I have heard from countries like Bangladesh and India, and then up in the Middle East, Libya, and then Saudi Arabia, then over to the continent of Africa. I've had Liberia, Sudan, Republic of Congo, Rwanda, then south to Mozambique, and then to South Africa. Then up to Europe, England, Scotland, Wales, and Denmark and Sweden. Then across the pond to North America, Canada, the US, all 50 states I've heard from, including the District of Columbia. And then south of the border, Mexico. Then in South America, north of Brazil, a country called Grenada on the East Coast. And then across the South Pacific to New Zealand and the land down under, Australia. So, these places were all calling in, texting in messages. That's right. I have a regular person from South Africa named Leica, who's a beautiful person who's called in several times here on my show to talk to me about her case. Ebony says is being affected by CPS. Well, what I call CPS, by the way, is the Child Protection System. It has different names, like in Arizona's Department of Children's Services. In California, in the LA County, it's called Department of Children and Family Services. In Orange County next door, it's called the Child Protection Services. But then if you go to Richmond, Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. So whatever the name is, when I say CPS, I mean the Child Protection System. It's found in every county and every state. Need a better attorney who can help. Well, that is the number one rule of me, is that you need to find an attorney. Now, who do you need to find? A juvenile law, a family law, a dependency attorney with experience of fighting CPS and winning cases. Also, that individual should be able to sue CPS after your case is closed and done a lawsuit, whether in state court or federal court, and won millions of dollars. Now, I have such an attorney, by the way. His name is Vincent W. Davis. Now, you can see him up on the my screen on the upper right-hand corner. There's a picture of him. He was once in foster care himself. Anyway, he is a licensed, active, professional attorney in the areas of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. He is a fighter. He is a professional attorney. He's also a trial attorney, and he does lawsuits. He has won millions of dollars beating CPS in both state and federal court. He's the real deal, and he will come and defend you. Now, his retainer in LA County, which is where his office is, starts at $5,000. He's a $500 an hour attorney. It's kind of a mid-range attorney for doing legal matters. You see, all of you probably don't think about getting a professional attorney. And it is because of the worrying about the money part. You see, you're low income. I was low income. I had to wait a year before I got Vincent Davis, who did get my children back when they were stolen. I had to quick sell my home to do it. My case was a nightmare. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. And I've been fighting CPS since 2010. In 2015, they stole my children. They trafficked my children. They hurt my children in foster care. It was terrible. They don't care. They do not care. It is a hard thing looking for an attorney, getting the right attorney. And a lot of you believe that, oh, hey, I got an attorney. CPS gave me one. Well, they're the enemy. They're the ones that's corrupt. Hopefully, you're going to take that attorney. They want you to. They want you to take that attorney. Okay. Right now, a second way to interact this is to be a guest on my live stream. And all you have to do is send one of my 14 days that I'm on to Grace. She's my show producer. Her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's grace@vincentwdavis.com. And you can be on my show. I can take 9 of you. And then she'll send you a link to get on StreamYard, which is the application I'm using. I'm broadcasting in one of my 2 rooms. My first room on YouTube is called Fight CPS with Bob Pace. The second room is to fight CPS and stop taking our children. You'll find them on Facebook, and you can follow the link, and that's how you get here. Now, a third way to interact with this live stream is to call. Now, I'm going to put my number up. Ebony says he calls, but he gets no answer. Now, I don't know what number you're calling, Ebony, but there's my number, and I will answer the phone. My phone is live. And I will take your call, Ebony. You just call me at 626-698-0990. Oh, not me. Well, who are you trying to call? If you're calling my office, it's 888-888-6582. My reception should answer it. If no one answers the phone in my office, the calls are rolled over to me. If no one answers at 888-888-6582, I'll answer the call. Now, I do make calls in the morning from 8 to 10 and from 11 to 1. And they're to help people hire Mr. Davis. So if you want to hire Mr. Davis, you can call me at 626-698-0990 or call the office, 888-888-6582. And reception will answer. You just tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And when you speak to Mr. Davis, tell them that Bob Pace sent you. There are several ways that you can get free legal advice from Mr. Davis. It's not that hard. One of the ways is by calling my number and talk about your case or ask a question. Or you can be a guest and talk about your case or answer a question. Now, we will give you a free 50-minute private consultation with Mr. Davis on Zoom. That's 15 minutes of free legal advice from one of the top attorneys in the country. Somebody who's a fighter, somebody who's gotten kids back and has sued CPS. Now, Mr. Davis would glad to talk to you for 15 minutes. You just make a list of questions, prioritize them, and he's not a clock watcher. He will listen you out, and you'll get your full 15 minutes. It takes about a week to schedule you, but you have to either call in or be a guest on my live stream. Now, another way that you can get in and talk to him, that's a little bit cheaper, is to go to this website. It's candidly.com, and it's apps VWD /Bob Pace. That will get you there too. I'm checking right now. Don't understand why I'm not getting anybody here. Hold on a second. Yesterday I had a call from 419 area code. They talked for 25 minutes. And then I had another call for 33 minutes. Wow. Okay. I see no calls. Oh, here's one. Lisa. Huh. Here's a new one yesterday I missed completely called Lisa Sander Burley. Something yesterday that just came in. Okay. Looking at my phone here. And someone just, I don't know where they're going. Oh. Okay. Anyway, my phone is open and the volume is turned up, so I should be able to get your calls. Um, so that's how you would talk to them for 30 minutes. Now, if you want to talk longer than 30 minutes, you can book them for an hour session for $500. And you can call and set that up. Now, hello, Dorothy Cook, and welcome. Dorothy Cook is from North Carolina. I now received the link for Zoom today with Attorney Davis. I hope I provide the right email address. Okay, if you've been contacted by Dorothy, if you've been contacted by Faye, by Grace, then you're set to go. It should tell you the date and time. Now, what you can do, Dorothy, is email Grace at vincentwdavis.com. Email Grace at vincentwdavis.com. I can put that back up again. And when you email Grace at vincentwdavis.com, ask her what time you're scheduled for your private Zoom consultation. How it works, she'll contact you and give you a date that Mr. Davis is free. Then you respond and say, yes, I'll take that date. Or how about another date? So he works with it. Now, he usually schedules a 15-minute private Zoom call a week after you had spoken on the show or was on my show. That's how it works. Now, I'm going to put my phone number back up and go back to my people in the room. Good question, Dorothy. Dorothy is asking, how do we know if the court papers are legal when they remove custody of a child? Well, if they have a warrant, and I think that's what you're referring to, Dorothy, is a warrant. A warrant has to be taken out either by the social service worker or by the police if they want to serve you and have you do something. They go to court and they plead to the judge that either this person's uncooperative or because of our suspected of this following evidence, we suspect there's child abuse or neglect and we need to remove the child, or we need to enter the home, or we need to talk to the parents. That court order is very important that if it's signed with a wet ink signature, and where that signature is, there's something called an embossed stamp. It's one of those metal contraptions that when you crimp it together, it raises the paper with a seal. You can feel the seal when you run your fingernails across it. That is what the clerk will do in the judge's chamber. The judge will sign the court order, and then the clerk will emboss it. And there has to be specific instructions on the court paper. It's going to have the date, and if the date is not on a regular working date, then it's bogus. It's an old one that someone's trying to use on you. The date has to be Monday through Friday, and if there's a holiday during the week, it can't be that date. If it's the weekend, judges don't work on the weekend. It's a bogus warrant. Also, CPS is notorious for using old warrants from other cases. So you have to make sure your name is on there, or the names of the party that are being accused of neglect and abuse if it's you and your wife. It's got to have the correct address where you live. Then it's got to have the names of the children that's being accused and what they're being accused of. Is it neglect? Is it abuse? Or is it both? Then it's going to be specific instructions that say on such and such a date, they can enter the home to speak to so-and-so. Or they can enter the home and take the child. Or they can enter the home and inspect the home. Those usually are the three things out. Now, other warrants are out. If you sign a promissory note to appear in a court and you don't show up, a warrant will be issued for you. It's a horrible thing to ignore warrants because they'll interrupt you, wherever you are in your life, and haul you down to jail and put you in jail. If you refuse to, after you sign a ticket, a simple traffic ticket, or you sign any paperwork that says you promise to appear and you don't show up, then they'll issue a warrant. That's the same kind of warrant, but a warrant is used in your home because under the constitutional amendments and your civil rights, you're entitled to not let anybody in your home. There's only 3 ways you can do that. My rule number 3 says, don't answer the door. You never know who's going to be at the door. You never know. And I don't answer the door. In fact, it was yesterday a knock. It was from my son's friend. And I told him we have a special knock. It's where you bang on the door, or not bang on the door, but do the doorbell multiple times. So anyway, you got to be really careful of that warrant out there. It's so important that your paperwork. Now, if you have other paperwork that says your plan or your termination of your parental rights, that all the time the paperwork must come with a wet signature of a judge if it's a court order. If it's something to do with policy or something that CPS, again, the social worker will write in her handwriting her name. That's true with any documentation. Now remember, your home's your castle, your door's closed, your drawbridge is up. Don't let anybody in the home. Now, besides having a warrant that says they can come in your home, there are only 2 other reasons. One, if you open the door, or a family member opens the door, or someone opens the door and allows them in, they think it's a grand spec to take your children and do whatever. And then the last way they can enter it, if they hear a lot of commotion going on, screaming, yelling of children, fist fighting. If you parents are fighting each other and a child's caught in between, they're going to break open the door. They'll barge in. Those are the only 3 ways they can get in your home. And like a fool, I allowed in my home. I should never have done that. In a million years, I toss and turn how I let CPS dictate my life, and how I let CPS ruin my life, and how, yes, I have a hard dealing with CPS because I've heard so many stories. They're not true. 2 days ago, I was speaking with a couple up in Santa Clarita. They're being accused of medical neglect to their child. They brought their child to the pediatrician complaining of stomach pains. The pediatrician felt it necessary for them to go to the hospital. So they went to the hospital. The hospital misdiagnosed their pains. They thought it was appendicitis. So they were forced to go to another hospital to have surgery done and have the appendix removed. They find out after some x-rays, because the child was still hurting when they came back in after the appendix, they saw gallstones blocking the duct. So they needlessly did, they're going to get sued for malpractice because they initiated something that wasn't true. But the social worker stepped in, is charging the parents with neglect, not helping out the child. I'm very, very sorry if that's happened to you, but be very careful open the door. Also, do not talk to social workers unless you have your attorney present. They will use what you say against you. You'll slip up and say something you shouldn't have, or you let your emotions out. You got to be very professional with them and pretend they are a good guy. And a lot of times they may be a good guy. Not all CPS workers are bad. It's just the ones that I encountered are bad. And so you got to be careful there. Now, Nimson SMD, check in, Bob. Tony, okay, you got a new name. This is Cassandra from New York. And they did some funny stuff here at the hospital, including the courts, and CPS is all corrupt together. The hospital got papers served CPS for emergency. So together the hospital got served. Who did they serve? Who did the hospital serve? Or was it the CPS served? Who is the affidavit made by CPS director do emergency removal? Um, Again, you're trying to fight with a bad attorney, and I'm sorry that you're caught up that way, dealing with that bad attorney. Oh boy. Um, Removal in court for the hospital to release my son used the court papers from family court emergency removal. The next day, I'll be calling in tonight because I'm at work right now. That's okay. And hello, Betty Joe, and welcome from Montana. Betty Joe has been fighting to take care of her niece. And in fact, the other day you mentioned you're going to go see your niece or maybe do a Zoom uh, meeting with your niece. How did it go? I'm doing great. I'm hanging in there, reliving my past, my trying to help out people. Betty Joe, we had a horrible time 2 days ago. We had a parent who um, who had a hospital remove appendix from her 5-year-old or 4-year-old child. And it wasn't appendix. The doctor misjudged it, or the hospital misjudged it. They didn't do an x-ray. In fact, she had gallstones. So it was really horrible. Well, the CPS at the hospital is charging the parents with medical neglect, saying they aren't taking care of their child, which is a shame, which is a sham. And that's in LA County, California. Now we have Tony the Tiger from New York, Ostenago, New York, and then we have Dorothy Cook from from North Carolina, and Betty Joe from Montana. We have quite a reference of people here right now. We had another person, Happy Feet. Yes, they're from Arizona, and Ebony Charles is from. Um, he is from Detroit. Let me see, where are you? Detroit, Michigan. Hey, I remember it. Detroit, Michigan. So we have a lot of people in the room, and I'm glad to see and glad to meet you, Ebony. You can call in. My phone number's up. You can call in another day. It's no problem. You can be a guest on my live stream. And Dorothy, I'm still waiting for more questions from you. And Happy Feet, what do you have for me today? Um, Ebony's going to call attorney Glenn M, and he won't call back. I have no idea who Glenn M is. Who does Glenn M work for? I don't know a Glenn M. And we have Tony the Tiger, who's using another name called Nunabiz SMD. And of course, Betty Joe, and just came in is the Brown. My friend Faye Mandolin is from, a beautiful single mother who's trying to get adoption of her early 20-year-old son. Not get adoption, but guardianship. He's special needs. And they stole her daughter, really ruined her, really big time. And of course, she is struggling. She had a bad case of pneumonia. She had double pneumonia this past winter. and it took her almost 3 months to get cured. I wonder if they will take parents' rights if one parent is in the rehab center. No, they're not supposed to do that, Betty. They're not supposed to take the termination of your parental rights and education rights is a last resort. And if you're going through a rehab, let's say you're going through a drug rehab, and I don't know if you're talking about your brother or not, because I know that he has drug problems. And that's one of the reasons why he lost his daughter. But um, they usually don't if they're improving. If they show a progress, if the plan is for him to go through drug rehab, which may take a year, it's a 12-month program. Domestic violence is a 12-month program. A lot of programs are 12 months. That's why I tell people you're looking at least a year with CPS if you're going through programs. The parenting classes are a little bit quicker. They usually last a month. And so they are good too. So I guessed it right, Betty. You're talking about your brother. Um, I know you have a hearing for termination of parental rights, and I just hope that's not your brother, because if he's willing to go through a drug program, it's mandated that CPS give people the opportunity to correct and do family reunification. But if it's a corrupt CPS, and I don't know if Nebraska is very corrupt. I mean, that's where his daughter was taken, and that's where his daughter is right now in a foster home. And you're a foster parent yourself, so you know what I'm talking about. If the plan that your brother is going through incorporates a rehab part of the plan to get his daughter back, they should not terminate it. And if they try to, then you can appeal it. And one of the grounds you can appeal it that you have a plan in place. You have a plan in place. Now, Dorothy Cook says if a motion is filed and the judge orders it to be placed on the docket, the order is not followed through on what can be done to get the motion heard as ordered by the judge. Well, the case is usually put on the docket. Separate motions are not put on a docket. The motions are entered into court. Now, one of the ways that attorneys enter a motion in court is to serve both parties, the plaintiff and the defendant. And the judge acts as a referee, and the judge will make the decision, and then he'll make a court order. A court order could be termination of parental rights. A court order could be removal of the child from the home. A court order could be give the child back. These are lots of court orders. And if you get a court order, hang on to that document. And if it's against you, appeal it. Most appeals have to be done in 30 days. You can't let the time window lapse. You got to get that appeal in there. And if you use an attorney, they know what they're doing. If you're using a court-appointed attorney or a public defender, you got to kick them in the seat of the pants and tell them what to do. And if they don't perform, then you can sue them for negligence and also call the state bar at the capital of that state and put a complaint. And believe me, complaints are serious because they'll lose their license. Yeah, I remember you had a court order that said your niece would be in there. But the people that were getting the money from Nebraska Child Protection System were suddenly aware that the financial loss would be too hard on them. So that's why they came up with the notion, they got their attorney or whatever it is, to say that the child would be impacted because the child had grown with these foster people. I mean, this is wrong. Biologically speaking, biological parents are the best people to raise children. And there's a connection. Kinship is second best. Kinship is second best. And you're very much, your brother is in your blood. His niece, his daughter, your niece is in your blood. more so than a stranger. And you're a foster mom yourself, so you know what I'm talking about, Betty Joe. And you're a good woman because you've already adopted a small child who lost its parents on a Friday night in a car accident. And that is a beautiful thing you did. And you didn't rush into it. You first attempted to see if the child could be adopted by somebody in the family. And they did, but it didn't work out. So the child came back to you, and the child has really bonded with you. And I'm so glad the child's living with you and that you've adopted that child. You're a good mother. And you should also have the niece. And you should, if your brother is going through rehab, he should be given the opportunity to get himself free of drugs, free of whatever he was addicted to, so that he could help raise his child. So he can help raise his child. And I know you won't let him see it until he does that. I know he's living out of his car for a while. He and his girlfriend had taken off with their baby and lived in a tree house in Nebraska. And that maybe was not the best place to live in. I don't know if a Tarzan lifestyle is acceptable to Nebraska's CPS standards. Um, you know, there is a new rule that was passed in January of this year that President Biden signed into law that no one knew about. He did it on a Saturday, and none of the news media talked about it. But they've added some things in there where they say now that grandparents do count as kinship, and kinship is really important to children. Also, there was a verbiage in there that amended the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978 and added more benefits to the Native American Indians, our first immigrant to the country. So there are changes out there. There are changes out there. Good. I'm so glad he's going to a rehab center. That is the best news I've heard. I know he's living in his car for a while and he fell out of relapse and everything, but if he's going to rehab, the court papers say he'll get his child after he completes rehab and the other courses he needs to take. Now, I haven't heard anything further from Dorothy Cook from North Carolina about this warrant or if I was right about that. Also, Brown Recuse from Lexington, Kentucky. Do you have a question or story to say? Um, um, also, Cassandra from New York. It's Nepotis SMD, Tony the Tiger. Do you have anything for me? You have anything new for me, new updates? I know you were talking about the hospital doing something crazy. And uh, Ebony Charles, you haven't called in. I don't know if you were going to call in. And I asked you who Glenn M is. Who does Glenn M work for? What kind of attorney is he? I will try to help you. And Happy Feet from Arizona, I'm so glad that you came in. I want to know how things are going if you give me an update. And then we have, Emily is from Michigan, of course, Detroit, Michigan. We talked about him. So those are the people that have called into my room or text messages here or made comments or questions. And I love the emojis you guys give me. I love the heart from Dorothy Cook. Thank you, Dorothy. And if you want to leave emojis, please do. I love smiley faces, thumbs up, hearts, and even the stars. And then if you want to follow me, please check below and follow me. And then if you want to be notified when I'm on, check the notification button. Now, my phone number is up. That's the number you can call to reach me. And if you need to hire Vincent Davis, you call between 8 and 10 or from 11 to 1. And from 10 to 11, I'm on the show, and you can call into the show or you can be a guest on my show. And I will reward you with a free 15-minute Zoom private consultation with Mr. Davis. And also for $60, you can talk to him for 30 minutes. For $500, you can talk to him for an hour. And he is one of the best attorneys around. You can't go wrong using Mr. Davis. If you're going to use your court-appointed attorney, or your public defender, you're going to have to take the whip out and make them work because they're not there to protect you. So we had someone just, I thought my, okay. Nope. Yesterday, nope, nothing here. Oh, I'm just on, can't call in yet. I haven't heard from my attorney since April 16th, since they have another summons regard to survival benefits. Yeah, this is a person that is her name is Shasta Wheat, and she's from Lexington, Kentucky, and she's on right now. She is the one from let me see here, from Lexington, Kentucky. Yeah, she's the brown recluse. Is Shastivia Wheat, and she's from Lexington, Kentucky, and she had called in, and Mr. Davis is going to talk to her for 15 minutes for free in about a week's time. And I think that was on Saturday when she called. So hopefully by next Saturday, a call will be set up. She also has a petition for action against Judge Libby Messenger, who is a judge, I guess, in Lexington, Kentucky. And to sign the petition, you go to https:// chng.it.gixfrltryc. And she hasn't heard from her attorney April 16th. I don't know if that was a court appointed attorney. I don't know. Anyway, this is the person in the room on my show here. Now, Dorothy Cook says the motion was filed with the clerk of court. Copies were served to CPS. Oh, we got a call. Great. Hello, this is Bob Pace. You reached my live stream. How can I help you? Oh, okay. Yes. I love the brown recluse spider now. I'm starting to get it in my head. Go ahead.
It is. So that was just my online screen name, just to kind of be discreet.
Yeah.
Because they're watching my social medias and all that.
Yeah.
But to ask my question, so I know you told me that I didn't have to answer the door to receive any more stuff. I don't have to answer the door for the sheriff. I don't have to answer the door for anybody. But in the meantime, so I have two social workers that are working together and working hand in hand with the judge as well as my court-appointed attorney. So I don't trust anybody involved.
Well, here's the thing is, every time you talk to the sheriff or serves a summons, they know you got the paperwork. That means you go in there. If you don't answer the door, you need to have your attorney call whoever the person that knocked at the door. Now, I say that you can look.
My attorney is not responding.
I know, and you need to go then to the court, the dependency court, and go to the public defender's office. In every court, there's a public defender's office. And say that you've not heard from your attorney since April 16th, that you need to replace that attorney because you need an attorney that will fight for me. And tell me you got severe, anxiety because you don't know about these summons. So I know that is a hard thing to not respond. But eventually they're gonna try to get you something in there by not answering the door and be very quiet so they know that you're not in the home and you have a cameras. You told me you have cameras recording everything. They are going to go around the house, try to see if you're at home. If you have a car, don't park it in the driveway. I know that sounds kind of bad, but you can park it down the street. And tomorrow, because I don't know if today is any time left for you to do in North Carolina, go to the public defenders.
Kentucky.
I'm sorry, you're right, Lexington, Kentucky, which is the same time zone. I don't know if you have any time left in the day, but you should be able to go down to the dependency courthouse, the court where your case is being held. In that courthouse, there'll be something called the public defender's office. And in that office, you go to them and tell them your attorney's name and said he's disappeared. He's not returned my calls. And if you're talking to a clerk and you don't like the answers, say you want to speak to a supervisor. Don't always forget that, because sometimes you get slammed in your face, you go higher up. That's the name of the game. The more you press, the more you go higher up, the more you make, and you have to be civilly obedient. You can't be rude or nasty or anything like that, because it won't get you anywhere.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad that you do call in, and I do want to help you. Um, and does that help you out a little bit?
Yes, sir. It helps out a lot.
Okay, okay.
I'll definitely keep you updated and call in.
All right.
I'll try to,
right. Don't be
on
afraid to
everything when you
call
call.
in there. Okay. All right. And you should be getting something from Mr. Davis by Saturday from Grace. If you want to, you can always write her, email her at grace@vincentwdavis.com and ask her for an update.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
All right. I'll be talking to you. God bless you and
Have a
take
good day.
care. Bye-bye. Okay, we are just talking to Brown Recluse, who is in Lexington, Kentucky, fighting a horrible CPS case. Her attorney has not spoken to her since April 16th, and then she has numerous of people trying to serve her paperwork at the door. Her last summons, she opened the door and spoke to him, and she got summons to appear. And this is a hard thing to do, to make a decision. But what you want to think about is having an attorney present if they want to serve you something. You never want to talk to them at their office, and you certainly don't want to talk to them at your home. You want to talk to them at a public place so you can record them, a place like Starbucks or the public library or even McDonald's. They have side areas that you can talk. You're in public, so you can record both video and audio. And if you tell them you're recording them, it's your free speech. You're allowed to record them in public spaces. These people, the CPS and the police, do not know the law as much as you do. They only carry out the law. You see, the problem is they don't, there's higher ups that interpret the law. And that's one thing you got to be thinking about when you're talking to police. They're only to enforce the law, meaning if they see something wrong, they'll write you a ticket or they'll arrest you. Social workers the same way. They don't write tickets and they don't arrest you. They do something worse. They take your children away because they said your child's in danger. But my children were not in danger. They're both in 3 private schools, or 2 public schools, 1 private school. That is not danger. In fact, they put my 3 children into a shelter that put them into danger because the shelter was next door to the juvenile prison in Orange, California. And that shelter was run by CPS, but it was dirty. It was overcrowded. Their play area joined the play area of the juveniles, people with hardened crimes in there. They were exposing my child to juvenile crime people. On top of that, there was a beehive that was stinging children when they went outside. Then there was the rats and the roaches and the terrible food and the terrible sleeping, and they weren't taken to the school of origin. They were read a book. How can you tell a potential engineer who's in a STEM program where they take a science class, a technology class, an engineering class, and a math class? That's all my sons were taking. Anyway, that's enough about my case. My case is really, really, really bad. Now, Dorothy Koch said the motion was filed with the clerk of court. Copies were served to CPS, and then the judge for that court date made a decision to place it on the court dockets for another date to be heard by another judge, but it was not heard at all. What happened? Are CPS court cases record kept in local clerk of the court or by CPS? Anything they submit in court is in the court. It's with the court clerk. She has the paperwork, and you can ask copies. If you're indigent, then you can claim low income and get them for free. Now, hi, Crystal Sandoval. Glad to see you, Crystal. Yeah, they took my daughter away and has my daughter on 7 medications and 6 different foster care homes within 6 months. And their best interest of the kid is where I was in, declared a disaster. When they came and got my daughter, they gave her to my mom saying, I'm still unfit. We'll see how that goes on a 1983. Is that the paperwork they signed? Court of Records, 1983. Okay, Crystal Sandoval. Well, today is a good day. Well, it's sun out. I know that because I go to the beach at 4 o'clock in the morning to check out the surf at the Dawn Patrol. Surf's up, I'm out in the water. Got to get my gills wet. Anyway, every day to me starts off new. Every day is a new day, a new beginning. If you feel discouraged about something, throw it out the window. What happened yesterday is gone. You can learn from yesterday, but you can't dwell on it and you can't fix it. You can only fix for the moment. I live for the moment. I do have aspirations for the future, but I live every day like it's my last day on earth, especially at my age. I want to enjoy my life. I want to remember my enjoyment. And I'm on the road to heaven because I believe in God. I'm on that train tracks I keep talking about. I'm on the right rail that's taking me to heaven. The left rail is my circle of life, and it's connected with wooden ties. And those are steps in my life. And I have a big circle because I want to live a long life. And I know that God is very important to me. You know, I've learned a lot about God, and God has really been in my life a lot lately. A lot lately. Um, we're slowly going through the time here. It's almost 11 o'clock. Oh, it is actually 11 o'clock. I actually have run a little bit longer than I thought. Now, Crystal says, I'm suing them on a 1983. I've been on child support with the same exact suit that they're suing me on. We're two of the same kind of collided. So I was already suing somebody on the same thing that they are opposing on me. They're like two exact twins. Suits. I'm already bankrupt with child support of fraud on the same criminal offense they're trying to pose on me, the same exact suit. They're colliding, they're intertwined. Crystal says, I know God has a good sense of humor, and he's brought me to the point of understanding that these two exact suits, um, that they are twins. If you put them together, I'm using my own court case, calls for my child support to validate the CPS that they are both as declared disaster COVID 19. Now the disaster store in the same Manderson. Anyway, I'm glad you're sharing this with me, Crystal Sandoval, and I do want to help you. I think I'm trying to look up. I forgot the city you're in. Crystal, could you tell me the city you're in? Because I want to look up a 1983. Crystal, can you give me your city again? Yeah, if you can tell me the city, I can look it up there, Crystal. Otherwise, I'm going to have to end the show here because it's already 11 o'clock and I don't want to run the show over. I've already talked for a good hour. Now, I want to thank Crystal for coming into my show to talk. I'm so glad to hear from you. Dorothy Cook, I'm so glad to hear from you too. Betty Joe, the same thing. Okay, good. I'm glad, Betty Joe, that they're transferring to a different town. Maybe they'll be better. Maybe they'll be better. I'm so glad that your brother's going rehab. That's good news to tell me, Betty Joe. Betty Joe's from from Montana. Dorothy Cook is from North Carolina. And I'm still waiting to hear from, Crystal Sandoval's from Houston, Texas. Harrison County. So I'm trying to look up what the 1983 is. And thank you for calling in real quick. Brown Recluse, Lexington, Kentucky, that she's from. Thank you, Cassandra from New York, from Ostenago, New York, for calling in. And I want to thank Ebony Charles from Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. I want to help you as best as I can. I need to know who the Glen M is so I can help you with your attorney. And of course, Happy Feet from Arizona. I'm so glad you called in. It's really good to hear from you. Let me see who else we have here. I think that's it. I think I've covered everybody. I want to thank you all for being a great listener, for being in my room. Let me see. Crystal says, I've already filed both the lawsuits. I just wait for them. They've all completely already given a sworn statement to the police officers that unlawfully arrested me. I already did everything I needed to do on this procedure because I was going through it with child support, and now I have great knowledge to go through the same thing with CPS. Child relationship is the best interest. You bet. God bless you all. Thank you for coming to my show. I'll be on again at 7 p.m. tonight. So please keep fighting for your child. Don't give up. God bless you all. There'll be a brief message from my attorney, Vincent W. Davis, when I leave the show.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges. Another kid's innocence corrupted, and if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the
last ones left, but